Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that brings you Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay for the WWE Draft. It is Lost in the Midcard. A lot to talk about this week. We are coming to you a day later, probably because there's just so much to talk about. We had to have another day to just get it all put together for you. But we are here on a Friday morning for you. We are talking WWE Draft, about 60 picks to talk about. And one guy that got the lights left out on him. And we also are talking Lesnar. A little something kind of major happened there. We are talking NXT Cruiserweight Classic. And after all that, we got to talk about Battleground, because that's also coming up this Sunday on the WWE Network. Before we get all to that, once again, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard and hit that subscribe button. That way you know every time a new show hits your earwaves, typically every Thursday and Monday after a pay-per-view. We're also subscribable on YouTube, and the links to both of those are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Just go to the notes section there. Or also we have our pinned tweet that has those links as well on our Twitter account at LITMC Podcast. And I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. My co-host, as always, he's on the Twitter at Raw F Showtime. It is Mr. Mel Kiper Jr. or Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing this evening?
Todd!
Todd. What's up, man?
I'm doing all right. Seeing the end of Impact right now, and
they are still going?
Yeah, they're still going. Just a big old 6-man brawl in a steel cage right now after the title match that closed the show. So,
did Lashley end up winning?
Yeah, Lashley won.
So who's all fighting?
Well, they just went off the air. I think it was Eddie, Lashley, Moose, Bennett, Matt Hardy, and EC3. I think. I might be wrong. Oh, well. To be fair, TNA didn't do a whole lot to keep my interest tonight, so... It wasn't an awful show, but it wasn't, amazing either.
Well, they did move back home. I mean, got kicked to Thursdays.
Ouch.
Yeah.
They claim it was their choice, sir.
Yeah, Bruce Jones. Yeah. Hey, you want to stay on Tuesdays and get smoked?
SmackDown beat Raw in the ratings.
I know.
I hope that trend continues.
That was, actually, I saw the numbers. I didn't realize, I didn't realize they beat Raw.
Yep,
I did see the numbers.
By about 50 to 60,000 viewers.
Yeah, I wonder how long that'll keep up.
I hope they continue to beat them to prove the freaking 3-hour fucking show's too damn long.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt that'll ever show Vince that the third hour is the reason, but it is so weird lately. I've not been finding the SmackDown Live I found the SmackDown Live numbers now, 3.17. What did Raw do?
3.13 or something like that.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't know if that trend will hold up, just because this was the draft, but it'll be very curious to see what happens. Speaking of the draft occurred this past Tuesday, and yes, they did get a nice Raw rating basically on that Tuesday night. I'm sure USA is pretty happy about that. The draft itself was interesting. I thought it was not too bad at all. I don't know. Some people think SmackDown got the shaft. I don't think so. I think it gives them room to grow. Matt, I know you were one of the ones that didn't like how SmackDown went. Overall, what kept you from really liking the SmackDown side of things?
I just think they went with the formula. They could top heavy the main event over on SmackDown with like 4 or 5 people, and they can make the rest of the show Jobberville. And I have a major issue with that. And I mean, they could easily do a trade and even this out. I mean, it would truly only take a couple guys to balance this, just enough that it doesn't look like they're getting screwed. Like if they took Kalisto and the Usos and they traded them to Raw for Enzo and Cass and Cesaro, I would definitely think SmackDown was in a much better position at that point than what they ended up having.
Plus, I have a good feeling that guys like Joe and Nakamura and Aries, they might go to SmackDown. You know, and so that'll even help it even further.
I also hated a lot of the creative logic holes that were throughout that entire show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't give a damn what you say unless you can come up with some storyline reasoning behind it. You could have done something ahead of time to have it make sense. But the fact that Daniel Bryan did not choose to draft Shinsuke Nakamura to SmackDown is one of the stupidest things in the history of the company. Anybody that knows the history between those two guys. Absolutely stupid and beyond repair that they make decisions like that. And I will give props to Austin Aries. It's not the greatest reason in the world, but he actually tweeted the day after the draft about why he wasn't drafted. And just something as simple as that is a hell of a lot better than having no reasoning at all. Austin Aries tweeted the day after the draft. Agent said the reason I wasn't drafted from NXT, from my NXT commitment, warranted a bigger signing bonus than either brand could pay. Okay, it's a stupid reasoning, but at least there's a reason why. There's a storyline reason there why Aries wasn't drafted. I think the easiest way they could have done this is in the first round when Raw took Finn Balor. They needed to have some kind of segment during the show where Triple H went to everybody, like either on camera or in the back or whatever, and said, "Hey, you guys aren't gutting my roster. You guys did that enough at WrestleMania. These guys are off limits." And he would name people like Samoa Joe, Nakamura, Bailey, just to protect these people. Because why did these guys get overlooked and some other people got, and Mojo Riley got called up to the main roster instead?
Yeah, they could have said something like the guys in title matches are not eligible. They did a poor job of that. I mean, it's not a poor job. They didn't do a job.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything. They didn't tell us anything about who's eligible. They just said 6 people from NXT, and
I think that's my main overall problem with the draft was just creatively. I think creatively it was handled very poorly, and that's on them. It starts with Vince all the way down. Just don't treat your fans like they're stupid. Use some logical booking. Treat your fans like they're an intelligent breed, and don't try to coast on stupidity and expect people to just eat it and smile.
Yeah, there were some weird things, and we're gonna go through them right now. Number 1. Raw gets first pick. No surprise at all.
Yeah, there was no surprise. The first 2 picks weren't a surprise.
No, Seth Rollins gets drafted to Raw. Obviously, Stephanie McMahon did not want to deal with Dean Ambrose at all. So Seth Rollins is your number 1 draft pick, and then right away, Dean Ambrose, your number 2 pick, the World Heavyweight Champion, or now I guess WWE Champion, whatever you want to call it now.
If you want to believe the rumors on the internet right now, the original number 1 pick for Raw was going to be Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the, whole UFC situation he's dealing with right now, they decided to pull back on that. Apparently, the original order was Lesnar at 1, then SmackDown was going to take Dean, and then Raw was going to take Rollins at number 2. But, with the whole Brock UFC situation, they obviously decided not to do that, and can't say I blame them.
No, not at all. Dean Ambrose is the champion. Still up in the air if we're going to get 2 champions or not. Do you still think we'll have 2 world champions?
Yeah. I think between now and September, we're going to see a bunch of new championships created. I don't think it's all going to happen immediately, but I think by the time, I would say by the end of September, we'll know what the championship picture will look like for both brands. I don't think we'll know it immediately. I'd love to be Raw, and I'd love for them to just do it now and get it over with and have the title matches at SummerSlam. But yeah, I don't know if they're committed to doing something that quickly. But I think within the next couple of months, we're going to have our answer.
It sounds like the women's champion, there may just be one women's champion. I don't know. And to the tag champions, it looks like there just maybe one for now. They obviously need to build on the depth on both of those divisions to really have 2 belts. So I think those make sense.
Well, that's an awful problem for every woman in tag team on SmackDown, because it's that point. What the fuck are you even wrestling for? You have the championship.
No, the champion would be on both shows.
They have yet to say in any shape or form that those championships would be on both shows.
Yeah, well, that's another thing they kind of forgot to do. So, yeah, and it almost sounded like the SmackDown had this plan of being new, fresh, unique, and it just sounded like they were countering Raw the whole time. That was kind of odd. But go to number 3, the first WoW pick of the draft. Charlotte, the women's champion at 3. It's pretty high for the women's champion, don't you think?
Yeah, I can't say that I'm totally on board with that pick being that high. Honestly, if you're doing it that rate, all the championships should have gone in the first and second rounds, and they didn't. So I'm not really feeling that pick that early.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise. I mean, obviously they're trying to make a statement, but because they're going to have the cruiserweight division on Raw, which is who knows how that's going to happen or how that's going to look. Once the Cruiserweight Classic ends up. Number 4, SmackDown with a great counter, AJ Styles. So the phenomenal one. A lot of people had him going to SmackDown as one of the top picks, and that's what happens. I think that was a great pick, and I think a great avenue to have AJ be a future world champion within the WWE. We know it's going to happen eventually. The first surprise of the evening came at number 5. Finn Balor from NXT gets drafted to Monday Night Raw. Are you surprised that he got put on Raw, Matt? Or does it make or do you think it's the right fit?
I'm not surprised, motherfucker.
Because the guy's gonna bring money.
I think Triple H wanted him on Raw. And it was really as simple as that.
Number 6, maybe another surprise. Roman Reigns goes to Monday Night Raw. You surprised he went that high?
No, I think him not being in the first round at all was his punishment.
Mm-hmm. SmackDown turns around and takes John Cena at number 7.
So much for new, fresh programming.
Yeah. A lot of people think that Cena's going to SmackDown because he's going to start not being as full-time anymore. Does that make sense to you, or do you think he's still...
know. Everybody wants to create rumors. I'm not really... I don't really have an opinion on that one way or another.
What do you think of a part-timer in Brock Lesnar going as high as number 8 for Monday Night Raw.
Well, I tell you, if the rumor is correct, his original plan was to be number 1. So number 8 isn't that bad.
It's weird that, and he's really the only part-timer that got drafted. I mean, Jericho has been in the longest run that he's had for a while, I guess, because whatever they were supposed to do with Fozzy didn't pan out this summer. So it sounds like Jericho's going to be with us for I would say through WrestleMania the next year.
I don't think he'll be there that long.
So truly, Lesnar is the only part-timer that really got drafted, as Undertaker was not eligible. But obviously, Raw is the probably the smart home for Brock Lesnar, so that doesn't make any surprises there. A returning Randy Orton gets drafted to SmackDown at number 9. I was kind of confused. I was kind of confused. I thought Orton would for sure go to Raw, especially after they just drafted John Cena. I mean, I would like an AJ Styles Randy Orton feud. That'll be fun. I just don't think Randy Orton fits on SmackDown, especially with who they drafted before him and who they're drafting after him. Is that kind of the same mindset that you have there, Matt?
I didn't mind Orton nearly as much as I minded Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was while it was a star-studded round for SmackDown, I thought at the same token it went against everything Shane and Daniel Bryan claimed they stood for this brand to draft those two guys back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, at least they're treating SmackDown like it's not going to be an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, as the draft went on, I started to get extremely annoyed with their picks. And those,
don't you think
it just,
you got to have those guys though on? You know, you can't.
You didn't need both of them.
No. Yeah,
you didn't need both of them. You could have just taken Orton.
Yeah.
And then you could have taken somebody like Kevin Owens early. You know, it's just they didn't need Cena and Orton. In my opinion, they didn't need them both.
At number 10, the WWE World Tag Team Champions, the New Day. All three guys, Kofi Kingston, Big E, Xavier Woods, they all go to Raw at number 10. And that is a money pick for Monday Night Raw. I think any brand that would have gotten the New Day would have been a money pick, because you've got three guys that I think can be solo stars, and you have them as a team as well. I still would love to see the New Day, after they drop the tag titles, I still would love to see the New Day together go for singles gold. I still want to see that. I want to see Big E or Kofi as a world champion. I want to see Xavier Woods as a United States champion. Is that something you want to see as well, Matt?
Not at this particular moment. No. I could totally see them doing something like that later on down the line. But I didn't at this current stage. I have not thought about any of them as world champion.
Next pick right after that was Raw's at number 11. Sami Zayn goes to Monday Night Raw ahead of Kevin Owens, so I bet that pissed off KO. I thought this would be I thought SmackDown would be almost a guarantee for Sami Zayn, didn't you?
Yeah, there were a lot of people I thought would be a guarantee for SmackDown that ended up on Raw, which was why I was quickly getting annoyed by it all.
Yeah, because at number 12 is a guy that I thought would be at Raw for sure. That was Bray Wyatt. A high draft pick for somebody that hasn't won a title yet, but at the same time, maybe finally they're doing something with Bray Wyatt. But of course, we've been saying maybe finally with Bray Wyatt for quite a while now, so it's hard telling. But Bray Wyatt at number 12 on SmackDown. The Boss, number 13, Sasha Banks. If you've got Charlotte and I think that the best feud that you're going to have with her on the roster is Sasha Banks. So, Matt, I think Raw did good to take Sasha at 13 to have the top of the women's division be pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah, I think both sides of the women's division are way too small on both brands, and unless the champion's going back and forth between both shows, they really need to flesh out the women's division on both shows for it to be a legitimate division under the WWE brand at this point.
Yeah, it's one of the big unanswered questions right now. SmackDown countered Sasha Banks, thinking, "Oh shit, the two top women are off the board. We better take the third one." And so they take Becky Lynch to SmackDown. Like we said, it's uncertain what they're going to do with the title picture there, but at least you could pretty much say that Becky Lynch is the top girl on that brand. So in a way, it's kind of a nice thing to have for her, but at the same time, who knows what they're going to do with the title? So we'll have to see what that happens. Number 15 was a surprise. Chris Jericho. I thought that was a quite the high pick for
a stupid idiot.
For a stupid idiot, for a 47-year-old that's a part-timer. I thought I was kind of baffled by that.
I was baffled by a lot of things they did Tuesday night. So
Raw followed that up with Rusev, the United States champion, at number 16, and that basically forced the hand of SmackDown because they want to still have some titles on their show, and so they draft The Miz, who is the Intercontinental Champion. Of course, if The Miz lost to Darren Young, then Raw would have both the titles.
They could swap both titles on Sunday.
They could.
Because if the U.S. and IC titles both change hands, the IC title goes to Raw and the U.S. title goes to SmackDown.
Kevin Owens.
I'll tell you right now, if one of those mid-card titles change on the show, the other one's changing hands too. So you'll know after one of those matches happen on Sunday, if one of those titles changes hands, the other one's changing hands too.
When we get to our predictions at the end of the show for Battleground, we'll let you know where we see those two matches falling. Kevin Owens surprisingly drafted low at number 18. Do you think he was just drafted low to kind of give him something else to kind of bitch about with his heel persona? Do you think that was kind of the design of having him go so low down?
I guess. I don't know. I don't really have an explanation for a lot of the people that were drafted before him.
For the first time since pick number 4, SmackDown makes a pick that makes sense at number 19 with Baron Corbin, someone from the quote-unquote new era of people coming in. That I think Baron Corbin was a perfect fit for SmackDown to continue his ascension within the mid-card at this point. So I think that was a good pick for SmackDown, kind of back to what they were supposed to be doing. Raw takes Enzo and Cass at number 20, so now you got Enzo and Cass and New Day on the same brand. That's a good thing. I love it. Number 21, Raw gets the next pick and the next set of picks. They basically went 5 at a time, and of course Raw gets 3 to every SmackDown 2, so that's why you get some back-to-back with Raw. Raw takes Gallows and Anderson. Matt, that splits up the club, but before we get to that, this is already shaping up to be a good tag team division on Raw, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Don't sound too enthused.
I'm not. So I'm not going to sound enthused for something I'm not excited for.
So the club with AJ is split up. I've got a theory, Matt. You said you had a theory too. Do you think the club is gonna exist on both shows? Finn Balor with Gallows and Anderson, and AJ with a couple other people down the line. Kind of imagine if it was like AJ with with like Joe and Aries, you know. And once the club gets together 4 times a year, you know, they kind of rip shit up. That's kind of my theory, that AJ is going to get a couple of guys, and we're going to have kind of a 6-man stable that's split into 2 shows. What was your theory on the club?
Well, I'm thinking along the same lines, but I'm not thinking Joe or Aries. I'm thinking they're going to pick people that are already there. Maybe a Corbin, maybe a Dolph Ziggler, maybe something like along those lines. But the fact that they split the club up on Monday and then released the club T-shirt today on WWE Shop, which is pre-orderable and it doesn't even ship until August 19th, says to me that they obviously still have plans for them as the club going forward, because the shirt is being marketed as an AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson shirt. It's not just a Gallows and Anderson shirt. It's all 3 of them. And the O on the back, for when it says no one is safe, the O has the 1 in it, just like the phenomenal one. So they're not like overlooking AJ here. I feel there's going to be some kind of Club SmackDown, Club Raw type of deal. I'm just not 100% sure who's going to end up with Styles. I mean, we've heard MVP's name mentioned a lot over the past month about somebody coming back. I could see like MVP and Ziggler, MVP and Corbin.
Too bad.
Or something like that. Young Bucks contracts don't expire until October.
Yeah, it's, you saw where I was going there, huh?
Dude, I thought it already. I definitely think the Young Bucks have a great, with all their friends that are there right now. There's no better time than now for them to come in, and I just think it's a no-brainer that they come in October when their deals are up. I think WWE is going to throw a bank at them, and I think they're just gonna break down and take it.
They print money, so and a feud with the New Day, that's printing money right there as well, you know.
And I just want to say every single Reign of Honor T-shirt I've ever bought of a talent, they end up in WWE.
And you just bought a Young Bucks shirt.
I just bought a shirt of the Young Bucks. So we'll see if that trend continues over the course of the next couple months. But yeah, every ROH shirt I've ever bought, their next move after I get that shirt is they end up in WWE.
You think Kenny Omega comes over too? Sometime? Kenny
Omega said in an interview just the other week that Triple H has told him if he ever wants to come in, just give him a call. So I mean, I don't know what Omega's New Japan / ROH commitments are right now.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, he said it just the other week. Let me see if I can actually go find. Let me see if I can get the exact quote.
Him together with Xavier Woods is always gold. If you watched, I think it was from Evo, the best out of 5 match at Street Fighter V between Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods was some fun shit. And Omega has been on Up Down Down a few times, so those two together would be fun.
Yeah, he's SmackDown. He had an interview with Sports Illustrated.
Yeah,
and he had talks with NXT. I've spoken with the heads at NXT, and they've all said, if you want to come down, let us know. The second your visa's in place, you're on TV the next week. I thought that was really cool of them to say, and I appreciate they recognize that I'd add some value to their product. So I always keep that in my mind as an option. But this is going back to my Deep South days. I still haven't quite shown them what I can do on my own, and that's what I think this year is going to do for me. So,
man, could you imagine the Elite coming to the club? Woo!
I mean, it's certainly possible. You got to think the New Day's in their ear too. Mm-hmm. You know, New Day's in their ear. You know, they've got Styles is there, Gallows and Anderson are there, Nakamura's there. You know,
I mean, they keep going back and forth on ripping each other off on merch too. You know, I mean, there's so much business here too. On top of how fun this would be, there's a lot of business here that is you're printing money with these guys, and it's going to be.
I definitely feel that WWE will make a very hard run at the Bucks when their contracts run out in ROH this year, and I think the money's going to be very, very difficult for them to turn down.
And I think the Bucks, I think they have grown up as well. So, back when they were first looked at with the WWE, I think they've grown up as well.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
And them getting over to Ring of Honor has kind of gotten them a lot more exposure. And I think a lot more, you're seeing guys like Kazarian and Daniels and a lot of vets, and I think that kind of helps you grow. And I think they finally are at that point where I think it's going to be a good fit. And man, once Trips takes over, man, we're gonna be in for a ride, aren't we, Matt?
Company as a whole will be a lot better when he takes over. That's for damn sure.
Pick up the draft at number 22. This is a clutch pick, second straight good pick for SmackDown. They take American Alpha, and if you were wondering if the general WWE universe would know who American Alpha is, there was a big fucking pop for these guys once they were announced. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy that the crowd, the bigger crowd, knows who they are, because these guys are gold. And so I'm happy for the first time they show up on SmackDown that they're going to get a good pop, Matt.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll probably see him next week.
I like the guy at number 23, but picking him at number 23 made me shake my head and wonder why the Big Show was drafted at 23. I'm sure Matt has no words for this either. So
yeah, let's move on.
We'll move on. Number 24. Hey, SmackDown is on a nice little run right here. Dolph Ziggler at number 24. Finally, I think Ziggler is going to kind of get another resurgence. Obviously, the original brand split benefited Ziggler, as he's had a couple of world title reigns. So I think eventually it ain't gonna be immediate, but eventually I think Ziggler's gonna benefit from this match.
At this point, how can you say there's no reason Cesaro shouldn't have been taken by now?
Oh, exactly.
Cesaro should have been taken in the Baron Corbin spot a round or two back. For real.
I think Cesaro should have been taken in the Sami Zayn Bray Wyatt spot at 11 or 12.
Well, okay, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying he should have gone. There's no way he should have gone after Baron Corbin. No. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Or Big Show.
Well, dude, I was happy Big Show went to Raw. I thought Raw was getting too much good anyway. Let Big Show sit on the red brand. I was fine with that. I would have been a lot more annoyed if Big Show would have been drafted to SmackDown there than I was with him going to Raw.
Number 25, another surprise, Nia Jax from NXT. I'm surprised she got drafted this high on television. I figured she would be kind of the last hour, kind of like a couple other NXT superstars, but
they've got big plans for her, dude.
She has improved. So we'll talk about her match against Bayley on NXT this week, but I'm surprised they took her this high. But A, I'm happy for the girl. B, she has proven to me that she will continue to improve and be a great in the division, Matt. So we recycle around to the next set of 5, so Raw gets to pick again. Another pick I thought probably deserved to be on SmackDown, but at the same time, if Neville on Raw could do some great things too.
Neville on Raw made sense with the Cruiserweight division. I didn't have any issue with Neville going to Raw. I'm like, all right, you have a Cruiserweight division on Raw. Neville on Raw makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's just me talking before I knew about the Cruiserweight division. But yeah, oh man.
But they talked about the Cruiserweight division on Raw Monday.
I know. I'm talking about my plans for these guys well before.
Okay, I get you.
But oh my God, Neville and Cedric Alexander, Neville and Ibushi, Neville and TJ Perkins. Holy
I
shit.
have not heard they've offered Perkins a contract yet.
Oh, have they offered Ibushi and
I have heard they've offered Ibushi, Grand Metalik, Tozawa, and Cedric Alexander contracts.
Tozawa's a guy I've not really seen in the ring. I've just heard and read about him, and we'll talk about the CWC
you've seen him
bit,
now, pal.
I saw him now. I loved it. I loved it. I couldn't say his name the first few times, but Akira. You know what? I just need to not say his first name. It's when I'm transitioning from his first name to his last name is what fucks me up. So Tozawa. I'm just gonna go with Tozawa from now on.
That's how I do it.
27. SmackDown takes Natalya.
And I'm just wanting to punch a wall at this point.
Yeah,
I'm just like I'm so frustrated with SmackDown's picks at this point. Like I wanted to turn off the TV at this point. And I love Natty, but it's already been established that the women's division is heavily on the side of Raw right now, and you guys need to fix your fucking mid-card, and you're taking Natalya. I'm just like, fuck this shit, dude. I was so pissed off at this point with the SmackDown side of things that I was fed up.
Finally, at pick number 28, Cesaro goes to Monday Night Raw.
So why in the fuck couldn't that have been swapped?
Shit. Wow, and then Cesaro with a very shoot-like promo.
If you believe Dave Meltzer, that promo was 100% shoot.
Yeah.
So.
And I know, the PW Insider guys were talking about it, thinking, well, maybe this is the start of finally ascending him, where he proves everybody wrong, kind of deal, and that's why they purposely slotted him at 28.
I hate the fact that he's on a very deep roster heavy Raw, when he would have a much better chance to shine overall on SmackDown right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know. It's weird. Maybe we'll get some trades. Maybe, like you said, Cesaro to SmackDown and Enzo and Cass to SmackDown would go a long way. I don't really want to see Enzo and Cass and New Day split up. If
I'm Cesaro, I'd be even madder that the fact when he did his shit promo, they didn't even get his stats correctly on the screen.
Oh, what did they do?
They put up Bubba Ray Dudley's stats.
Oh, Jesus.
Let me see. I know they uploaded the video on YouTube. Let me see if they actually corrected his stats on this.
It definitely felt like a shoot promo, though, didn't it?
Oh, most definitely.
Talked about how
on the video on YouTube, they completely took out the graphic in the left-hand corner, which lists all of Bubba Ray Dudley's stats.
Oh, God.
It's gone. Completely gone.
It's funny. Cesaro talked about, obviously, his ability to speak the English language, which was a thing that was rumored that Vince had said was a thing that kept Cesaro from being that guy, and connecting with the crowd. Well, we all know Cesaro can connect with the crowd now. He has been kicking ass ever since he's come back. He's brought that uppercut train, which always gets a good pop. He's always had the swing, which always gets a good pop. And now he's got the James Bond entrance. Everything's there for him. So I'm wondering if this is a purposely done thing to eventually light a fire in him, or if this is a Wade Barrett situation and Cesaro's going to want to get the fuck out. I don't know.
I really hope not.
No.
I don't want to see him go.
So we'll have to see if that's the start of something big or if it's the start of the goodbye. Number 29, a good pick, I think. I think he might have been better on Raw, but still a good pick. I have high hopes that, I hope Creative can pull their head out of their asses for Alberto Del Rio at 29. I have high hopes that he's going to... he's already starting to get to that character that it made him so great on Lucha Underground and Ring of Honor, and I have high hopes that he's going to evolve out of that blandness that the Creative has fucked him over with. So I like the pick of Del Rio at 29. Number 30 is Sheamus, another solid veteran that can be your mid card or your top card. He can be an either or. So I think Sheamus at Raw, number 30, is a good pick. Number 31, as we recycle to the next set of picks, the Golden Truth is taken by Monday Night Raw. And 32, the Usos are taken to SmackDown. So this already SmackDown has American Alpha and the Usos for a fun little feud, while Raw has the New Day, Enzo and Cass, Gallows and Anderson. So at least the tag divisions, while they may not be completely overwhelming on SmackDown, at least I think drafting American Alpha gave it a shot in the arm, Matt, don't you think?
I mean, it was definitely a good pick, but there's still, I just felt at that point there was just so much damage done. I was just done, as far as caring at that point.
Do you think the Usos at 32 on SmackDown, do you think that was purposely done to separate them from Roman Reigns?
I don't know.
Because obviously they were getting that Reigns heat with them. The Real Deal Titus O'Neil at number 33 to Monday Night Raw. I think they want to push him in the mid-card.
I don't.
As long as he doesn't grab Vince's arm. But of course, he got jobbed out this week, so it's hard telling. 34 is Kane. I like this pick because it reunites Team Hell No. So Kane at 34. Paige all the way down at 35. That's something where I think SmackDown taking Paige at 27 would have been a lot better than taking Natalya, don't you think?
Yeah, I would have rather had Paige over Natalya.
Then you could have.
I think Natalya's kind of been overdone since WrestleMania, and it would have been fresher to have someone like Paige.
I don't like Natalya. I don't like Natty as a heel because it's not believable.
Oh, it would have been nice to get Natty and Becky over with at Battleground, and Natty being on Raw, would at least mean that feud would end.
Mm. It's just it's not believable to me, her being a heel. And I don't know if it's all the Total Divas stuff or what, but every time I see her in a heel persona, it's just not believable to me. 36, Darren Young with Bob Backlund. Obviously, a lot of vignettes for Darren Young, and then of course he wins the Intercontinental Battle Royal almost by default, and then he gets the Miz at Battleground for the Intercontinental Champion. And so far I have enjoyed Darren Young and Bob Backlund since they've come to TV. Matt, have you?
Fine. I truthfully don't care either way. They haven't really done anything for me since being on TV, so they're just there for me right now. I don't love them. I don't hate them. They're just there.
Kalisto at number 37 goes to SmackDown,
which is another thing made me want to hit my head through the damn wall
because of the cruiserweights.
You have a cruiserweight division on Raw, something you could center around Kalisto, and you put him on SmackDown. What the fuck? Just doesn't make any sense. Like, did you even think ahead when you did this draft, WWE? You're all a bunch of dumb fucks.
Then they followed it right up with Sin Cara at 38. 39, the women's division gets a little stronger with Naomi, which is, I think, a good pick. SmackDown needed to get somebody of value.
It keeps her with her husband.
That too.
It makes
but
sense.
Notice how they split up Paige and Alberto Del Rio.
Well, people are also claiming that everything Paige had about Del Rio on her Instagram page has been taken down, so maybe they broke up. And maybe WWE was doing them a favor. Who knows? I don't know.
Number 40 is Jack Swagger. He goes ahead of some interesting names, which makes me wonder maybe they're finally getting something with him. Rumor has it, or not rumor, I think this has been happening at house shows, but he's been teaming with Mark Henry. So that might be a good tag team. I would like it. It's an Olympian and a real American. It makes sense.
They did that tag team already earlier this year, and it didn't go over very well.
Number 41, the Ascension. Hopefully they can get some traction after being NXT's longest reigning tag champions.
Spoiler, they won't.
They have not done anything on the main roster. The Dudleys go at number 42, so you got the Dudleys in there with
I
the
was
club.
just glad they weren't split up.
Mm-hmm. That was a rumor that they would split them up and have Bubba kind of go back into that Bully Ray type of deal like he did in TNA.
Yeah, I don't trust them to handle that properly, so I was just glad they left them together.
Our boy Zack Ryder at 43.
About fucking time.
Yeah.
He's only going for a title on Sunday, fuckers. Let's draft him at number fucking 43.
Do you like him on SmackDown at this
Yes,
point?
because the mid-card there is so shit he has a chance to actually do something.
Hold the belt for a year or something.
I'm just like the mid-card of SmackDown is so awful that Zack Ryder has a chance to actually shine there.
Summer Rae at 44.
That's not a terrible thing.
Summer Rae at 44 for Raw. Then we go to Apollo Crews at 45. I thought that was kind of low. This guy's kind of a blue chipper, you know.
A blue chipper, haha.
Yeah. Who is that JBL line?
I don't know. You're the one that just said it.
Yeah,
I was just laughing because he went to the blue brand and you called him a blue chipper.
Oh yeah. A blue chipper isn't a good top prospect, but at 40, I figured he'd be a Raw guy, but
no, I think he's gonna get the same benefit as Zack Ryder. Mm-hmm. I think them being on a brand with such a weak mid card is going to do wonders for both of them.
Mark Henry at 46.
No one cares.
And our first NXT surprise, Alexa Bliss, gets drafted at 47, and.
I wasn't able to understand.
Oh, their website. I didn't mute my echo, Matt.
You jobber. Oops. Just call her Bliss.
Miss Bliss. I thought she's been doing great ever since she's turned heel. I was surprised she got the call up, but what do you think about her going to the blue brand?
I called 4 out of 6 of the NXT 6 that were coming. I called Alpha. I called Nia Jax. I called Finn Balor. And I called Carmella. Mm-hmm. My other 2 were Bayley. And I was not sure on the 6th pick, but I just felt Nakamura made sense due to Daniel Bryan being the general manager of SmackDown. All these stars seem to align in the planets. It would make sense for Daniel Bryan to want Nakamura on his show. Like, from a storyline perspective, it would have made sense. Alexa Bliss, to me, came out of nowhere. I felt they were really just doing her a favor on the NXT brand, as establishing her as a credible threat in that division, and immediately yanking her out and putting her on a brand without a championship, because we still don't know what they're doing with the women's title, just kind of seemed counterproductive.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think she's capable, fully capable.
She's absolutely capable. I just feel like she was just starting to shine on her own in NXT. And yeah. I think you're taking her out of the microwave a minute too soon.
I think that's kind of what they did with Tyler Breeze too. Tyler Breeze. No,
I think Tyler Breeze was overcooked. I think they left Tyler Breeze in the microwave a couple minutes too long.
Like that person in the office that leaves that popcorn in there for too long and stinks up the whole joint.
Yeah, I think Breeze was left in NXT for too long, and I don't think Alexa was down there for long enough.
Back to Nakamura. He didn't get drafted, but obviously he's going to be in the title picture. He's probably going to have a run with that NXT championship. It still can be a good story. Daniel Bryan brings in the hottest free agent from NXT.
Yeah, I know. I just feel when you have a chance and you're claiming the entire NXT roster is open and you're only going to take 6, for you to leave some of the people on the table that those brands left behind just makes every single person running Raw and SmackDown look like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, that's their fault for not explaining shit.
Exactly.
For, Triple H putting a kibosh on it.
Yeah,
or...
like all they had to do was a 2-minute segment with Triple H after Balor got drafted, and he go and they're all like sitting in the back in like the general manager's office, and he comes storming in, and he's like, "Hey, you just took Finn Balor, you guys took Enzo and Cass at WrestleMania, you took Apollo Crews at WrestleMania, you know, you guys have been gutting my roster for the past 4 months." These people are off limits. And he could have named off Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bailey. Just people that it would have then made sense. Okay, I get why these people weren't drafted now. Triple H put a lock on them.
That would have been a great segment.
And that's all they needed to do. And it would have been. It would have completely made sense. It would have been logical. It would have tied up any loose ends that didn't make any sense. And they just completely ignored it. And it's just so freaking frustrating when they treat the wrestling fan like they're stupid. And that's exactly what they did on Tuesday night throughout the entire draft. I feel they treated the wrestling fan as if they're an idiot. And that really bothered me. And that's one of the main reasons I had a big issue Tuesday night, was because I felt my intelligence was insulted throughout the entire draft.
Number 48, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman gets separated from Bray Wyatt.
How excited are you for that Braun Strowman Big Show feud?
Oh my god, I just jizzed in my pants.
Ew.
Clearly, Vince wants to strap a rocket up Braun's ass, I think. That's what this is telling me. Separating him from the Wyatt family. I think Vince, he has a hard-on for him. So I think splitting them up is the start of it.
The one thing I did like about Bray going to SmackDown was it kiboshed that entire stupid New Day Wyatt family feud.
Mm-hmm. Well, they kiboshed that on SmackDown Raw.
Yeah, but they put a fork in it on SmackDown.
Yeah, New
and
Day.
I was just like, okay, thank God this shit's done.
New Day really no-sold that. They came out happy and jovial.
Yeah, I was glad. Because honestly, Xavier acting like a scared little pussy was kind of getting on my last nerves.
Breeze and Fandango go to SmackDown at number 49.
It's Breezango, god damn it.
I ain't saying that stupid fucking name.
They should be called for Breeze, but I digress.
Yeah. I like the Pretty Boys better.
Oh, come on. You trying to tell me Febreze isn't a brilliant name?
Yeah, then they'll get sued.
Well, why? He hasn't gotten sued yet for being called Fandango.
Yeah, that's true.
Might as well keep on pushing the copyright boundaries. Just call it Febreze, F-A, instead of F-E. You're set.
Number 50, Bo Dallas of the Social Outcasts. Bo Dallas gets drafted, and they played Bo's old music, so a lot of people are speculating that the Outcasts are done. Who knows? If that means that they push Bo, I'm happy. I'm all for it.
Slater's going to end up on Raw, and they're all going to be together.
Yeah.
It was done as a joke.
It was interesting that they did play
the lights out thing.
But I'm talking about Bo himself. I'm just talking about Bo. I'm not talking about Heath right now.
Yeah, but the Social Outcasts were draftable as a unit.
Were they?
Yes, they were a team group on the draft.
I thought they were split.
It was the first. They made a big deal out of this on the network. It was the first tag team that was split up by a general manager. It was all it was done was a joke to get the ha laugh with Heath. Mm-hmm. Because Axel and Bo are both on Raw. He's going to end up on Raw, and they're all going to still be together.
Number 51, a surprise, Eva Marie, and they don't even bill her from NXT, which is odd either. Because why did they not?
She's been on the main roster all year, so she's not considered NXT.
Okay. So you got her in there with Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Natalya. Number 52, the Shining Stars of Vignette Land. The Vaudevillains go to 53 at SmackDown. Raw takes Alicia Fox at 54. Eric Rowan at 55, so he is going to be with Bray Wyatt, and best you believe that Luke Harper will be joining SmackDown soon.
I would think when he returns from injury, he'll be going to SmackDown, yeah.
Dana Brooke at 56. I almost thought that Dana Brooke would be benefiting putting her away from Charlotte on SmackDown with some of the new NXT women. That was just kind of my thought.
I'm not arguing.
Surprise draftee from NXT at 57, Mojo Rawley, which makes you wonder if the Hype Bros are going to be a thing on the blue brand. Obviously, Mojo has grown and gotten a lot better thanks to Zack Ryder. So, while it was a surprise call up, I think I'm happy for the guy, and I think he can do well in the mid card, Matt, or the tag division.
Just keep him away from Ryder.
I don't know.
With the mid card, this is Ryder's chance to actually do something on SmackDown. Please don't pair him up with Mojo now. Please, please don't do it.
They could pair him up, and then that could make for a good feud. When I could see Mojo turning heel. I think Mojo could be a good psychotic heel with that high energy thing. That'd be kind of interesting, I think.
I'd rather would have had him on Raw.
Yeah.
Just keep him away from Ryder. This is Ryder's chance right now with that brand the way it is to do something important, and I'm gonna be so freaking pissed off if he gets just stuck in with the Hype Brothers tag team.
I have a gut feeling they're going to do that, though. Number 58, they had interviewed Bo Dallas, and he was all happy that he got drafted to Raw, and then that was kind of a funny segment with the Social Outcasts. They're all worried about how they're going to get broken up. But Curtis Axel, the Axeman, is drafted at 58. And the final pick of the draft, Carmella from NXT. Another girl that I think is fully ready for the main roster. I think it's a shame that they drafted her separate from Enzo and Cass, though.
Which is, again, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's, as far as we know, she's still dating Cass.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell can't they be on the same show? Just so fucking stupid. She should have been brought up with them at Mania to begin with.
Exactly. And then at the end, there's Heath sitting in the green room all by himself, and they shut the lights out on him. Little funny segment. But some interesting news and notes, draft review. Matt, as we talked about, SmackDown was billed as a show as providing opportunity to youth, but 3 of the first 4 picks, the guys were aged 39, 39, and 36. The WWE has the most popular tag teams with the New Day, or Raw has the most popular tag teams with New Day and Enzo and Cass, and the top females with Charlotte and Sasha, obviously. Zayn and Owens are on the same show, which I love. Thank you. Then some other news and notes that Raw has a tag team, United States and Women's Championships, plus a Cruiserweight division. So SmackDown has the WWE and Intercontinental Championships. So once again, those things are still up in the air. Are they going to do a Cruiserweight Championship, or is it just a division, Matt? Do you know, or do they know?
They haven't said either way. But I would imagine if you're going to do a Cruiserweight division, you need a Cruiserweight Championship. I think the easiest way to do this is whoever wins the Cruiserweight Classic is awarded the championship and is immediately given a contract and they're on Raw. And that's how I would do it. Like UFC does the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. And the winner gets a contract to the UFC and a big contract in a car or whatever. Well, instead of like the car or whatever, you get the contract to WWE. You become the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, and you are brought to the main roster. That's how I would do it. To me, that just makes sense.
As we mentioned, Bray Wyatt and Rowan are together on SmackDown. Strowman has been moved to Raw. There's been talk that Vince is a huge fan of Strowman. Go figure. So there might be a push there going forward there on the split. WWE gave out signs for Bayley at ringside before the taping, but there was what was that all about?
I'm hearing a fan planted those. I'm hearing that wasn't WWE's That wasn't WWE putting them out there. I hear they were mass produced by a fan and taken to the show that night, and they got in the show early, and like they were one of the first people in line, and they papered the ringside area with them. That's what I'm hearing anyway. I'm hearing that was not a that was not a WWE issued sign.
Though Sasha said on a radio interview that Bayley's not her partner, do you think Bayley still is the partner?
I want Bayley to be the partner, but I don't know if she's going to be. And I truly believe WWE better realize right now that whoever is the partner on Sunday, if it's anybody other than Bayley, is going to be met with a very less than enthusiastic response from the live crowd in Washington, D.C.
Mike Johnson from PW Insider indicates there was a minor surprise with Mojo Rawley being called up. There were some in NXT earlier that day that expected No Way Jose to get the slot instead.
That's what I'm hearing.
What?
I don't know. I'm glad that at that point Mojo got it. I don't think No Way Jose has not been down there long enough on NXT television to deserve to be called up over 90% of that roster.
Mike Johnson does confirm that Cass and Carmella are still dating. Well, I guess he says that's documented on Breaking Ground, so I can fully assume that they're still together. But and then he mentions Luke Harper being out injured, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands. We all fully assume that it's going to be with the blue brand there. All right, that was our draft coverage. Let's go on to headlines. And Matt and I have been engulfed in a new app that was just released here last week by Topps. I believe their 7th branded app that they've released. I think they have some for baseball and football, also for The Walking Dead. And Topps released WWE Slam 16 digital trading card app, which basically you get coins every day. You can buy, and you can also buy coins and get yourself some packs to try to collect sets. Each pack there's inserts and all sorts of stuff. And a shout out to a fan of ours here, Matt, Mark Cho. He's been wheeling and dealing with us as well. What do you think of the app so far, Matt?
It's fun. It's on the pass the time. It's fun to trade the digital cards with people. It's definitely a feature that WWE, mobile game fans have wanted for a long time, and the WWE Supercard app, the ability to sell or trade cards with other players, has definitely been a very loud, vocal feature that they've wanted to see in that game. So, to bring out an app that basically the only feature is to trade cards, pretty much. It's pretty cool. I'm having fun with it. It's fun to negotiate trades with people and check out other people's cards and whatnot. It's cool. I don't have any problem with it. It's just a fun little app to pass the time. And I think if you're a WWE fan, it's definitely worth hopping on there, opening a couple packs a day with the free coins they give you, and just enjoying it.
Yeah, very cool app. And I was reading the article that was on WWE.com, and I saw a very familiar name, a guy by the name of Jeremy Strouser, and I'm like, whoa, I know that guy. He used to work for EA Sports on the Madden team. There's a couple of people that have gone over from the Madden team in Orlando, because Topps Digital is also based in Orlando. So, it's a fun app. Some cool inserts, some cool deals there. At first, I downloaded it, and I'm like, this is it, But then I realized, they give you a good amount of coins every day, and that kind of helped a lot, because I was like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this thing. But thankfully, because you can get coins by watching videos, but you'd have to watch about 100,000 videos to get yourself a pack. So, I like the coins. You could get about you could get 2 to 5 packs with your coins every day. So it's pretty cool. Now to the big news of the week. Brock Lesnar the UFC was notified that he failed a test, a potential anti-doping agency violation stemming from an out of competition sample on June 28th. Later on, it was found that a second sample, I believe from July 8th, was also tested negative or positive for the anti-doping violations. So this was this hit the airwaves just actually almost a week ago after we had recorded this broke, and the WWE had released a statement on the situation saying Brock Lesnar has not performed for the WWE since WrestleMania is not scheduled to return until Sunday, August 21st. That was their statement, basically, on the whole thing. Now that the second test has come out, Matt, and it's for something that is on WWE's list of banned substances, I mean, shouldn't they have already suspended him? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what Brock Lesnar's contract is. I don't know if it's like every other talent in the company. If he has a contract like a Triple H, he's not required to be drug tested by the company. And you know, what the unique attraction to Brock Lesnar is, he might have a different contract than almost any other person on that roster. And there's a good chance he might have a thing in his contract that does not require or does not allow WWE to drug test him. And if that's the case, they can't suspend him. And it's just as simple as that. So if he never gets suspended, you can do his contract wording in terms are a hell of a lot different than Roman Reigns or anybody else on the main roster who isn't a like Triple H or an Undertaker or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And many people were wondering, well, can New York stop him from being at SummerSlam?
Nope.
And the New York State Athletic Commission inspector said that Lesnar could not be suspended by the commission as a pro wrestler. The commission no longer requires licenses in the state of New York, and only wrestling promoters are licensed after they pass the screening process and put up the appropriate bond through the commission. So Lesnar and SummerSlam do and still indeed look like they're going on. Now, with the first drug test, yeah, I'm like, okay, but now you failed a second drug test. But yeah, you brought up a good point about the contract. It's interesting, you know, and did that contract have, you know, no testing on it because of the UFC thing? But at the same time, I mean, it's a banned thing in the UFC, so it's hard telling what's going to happen on the UFC side of things, because he would probably be banned for 2 years from the UFC, don't you think?
That's what I'm hearing right now. If everything goes according to the letter of the law, I suppose, as you want to put it. Yeah, there's a good chance he's going to get a 2-year suspension from UFC. Which, honestly, at the end of the day, do not tell me WWE's not thrilled about that.
Oh, Vince has a big fucking smile on his face.
Because by the time his suspension would be up with UFC, he'd be like 41 years old. He ain't getting back in the octagon at 41. This was his last window, and let's face it, he fucked it up for himself by taking what he took. So at the end of the day, if they can't get this overturned, he's suspended for 2 years. Brock Lesnar's UFC career is over, 100% over. It's done. So yeah, while this might be a little bad for WWE at the moment, 6 months down the line when all this shit blows over, this was a very good thing for WWE. They let him go out and do it because he wanted to. He is suspended from going back to the UFC, so he's not allowed to fight again, and you have him pretty much by the balls. So, honestly, at the end of the day, by the time this year is over, WWE is in a much better position now, thanks to that failed drug test, with Lesnar as far as contract negotiation and his future with the company than they were 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And that's just the bottom line.
Will that affect the crowd's reaction for him when he returns?
I doubt it. You'll get a few marks chanting you're on steroids or whatever, but they're going to be drowned out by an overly positive reaction. I'm very curious to see what kind of reaction Roman Reigns gets on Sunday. Like if he does not get a "you're on steroids" chant, I'm going to be shocked. Like I am fully expecting to hear that chant Sunday night.
You should just go buy a ticket so you could start that chant.
I have no desire to spend money on the WWE product right now in terms of sitting in an arena to watch it. They have a lot of work to do to improve their overall product before I wish to part with money again to go to an arena and sit there and watch their show. They've got a lot of work to do, and that's just as simple as that. Will I continue to support the WWE product? Yes. I'm going to continue to watch every week. I get the network. I buy merchandise, but a lot of their biggest money is in their live event revenue. And I just feel overall as a fan, they need to take their product to another level to convince me to go sit in an arena to see a show again. Like I feel like I've been in enough WWE arenas over the past decade to last a lot of people a lifetime. I think I'm good. I would love to go to another one, but they need to improve the product for the better before I would even consider parting money to do it again. So we'll see where it goes.
Clomiphene is the substance that Brock took, which is an estrogen, which
an estrogen
is
blocker.
to
it's rumored to be the exact same drug John Jones was busted for.
Yes, to balance out taking steroids. And that's why I hint it's on a banned list. John Cena commented on Brock's failed test off the top rope with the coach, and he said, while there's certainly a lot of hype, I was actually on Sports Center hyping that fight myself. My thoughts were in Brock Lesnar's corner as he was the underdog in that fight, and he ended up doing well. Anytime something like that comes out, it certainly affects your perception of the event. There's no way that people aren't going to perceive Brock differently. When something like this happens, you set yourself a long, hard road ahead of you. Brock's got a long, hard road ahead of him. Or maybe an easy road in the WWE. Who knows? Because now his future seems to be set in stone. The announced teams are going to get a switch, which we all kind of assumed was going to happen, and that came out late in the morning after the draft had occurred on Tuesday. On Raw, Michael Cole, Corey Graves, Byron Saxton. On SmackDown, Mauro Ranallo, JBL, and David Otunga, while Superstars gets Phillips and Corey Graves, and Main Event gets Phillips and Otunga. We all thought Graves and Mauro Ranallo would be great together, but what do you think of these teams here?
I think it's an improvement for Raw that JBL's off, and I think it is a downgrade for SmackDown that JBL is on. And honest to God, that's the truth. I can't stand JBL on commentary. I think he's fucking awful. He's one of the worst commentators I've heard ever. In terms of former wrestler talent sitting in a booth, there's a lot that have been really good at it. I think JBL is by far one of the worst. I think Mauro's in an uphill climb now to have to work with him. I think Raw's commentary is going to be 100 times better now without him and the addition of Corey Graves. I really wish Graves would have went to SmackDown instead of Raw. Yeah, but, Otunga is actually really good. The 2 weeks I heard him commentate while Lawler wasn't there, I thought he was excellent.
Was he doing face commentary or heel commentary?
He was doing like the Byron Saxton role.
Okay.
And I didn't have a problem with him at all. I thought he was really solid. So I'm curious to see how he'll do with in a booth with JBL. It'll be extremely interesting.
Very happy for Corey Graves. Obviously, his career got cut short, and he received the good news that he was going to be hired full-time as an announcer by Triple H. We saw all that on, was that Breaking Ground? That wasn't Breaking Ground, was it? I can't remember when that was. That might have been Breaking Ground. But he's clearly been one of the best announcers in the company, so it's good to see him get rewarded and go on Raw. Obviously, one name left out of that, Jerry Lawler, and we got an update on that. WWE announced that in addition to the commentary booth updates on Raw and SmackDown Live, WWE Hall of Famers Booker T and Jerry the King Lawler will bring their decades of experience in sports entertainment to recurring pre-shows and kickoffs as key analysts, among other names still to be announced. Stay with WWE.com for additional updates. So basically, they're just saying, King, you got demoted to the pre-show. that how you read that, Matt?
Yeah, pretty much.
Does this change NXT at all? Because Phillips and Graves are going to be on Superstars together too. So, do you think this changes NXT at all?
Probably not. I don't think they're down there enough that it would necessarily change their broadcast team. And I don't think they have a group down there right now that could replace them. So no. I would say with the minor amount of time that they're needed down at Full Sail, I think they have enough time to do both. I don't think we're going to be losing. I don't think we're going to be losing that team on NXT yet because I just don't think they have lined up replacements yet.
The only name I could even think of is Renee Young. That
would be weird. Honestly, that would kind of be like a downgrade for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no offense to NXT, but it would just.
I think she'd still be on Raw, but
I think it would be weird.
Yeah. I'm excited. I love when Graves and Saxton was bagging on Saxton on NXT. So Graves and Saxton work well together. So it'll be interesting. I'll love to see Graves bag on Cole too. So we all love to see that. Morrow's good. So maybe he could just chug along with JBL weighing him down. JBL was so good in the beginning of his commentating career. Now it's like he just throws the same shit out there. And I thought he was good in the beginning. But now, yeah, I fully agree.
You're entitled to your opinion, my friend.
Yeah. SmackDown Live, there was a fight backstage at the taping. That was very interesting between Sin Cara and Simon Gotch. No word of what sparked the altercation, but it took place. I can only imagine what that fight was about. Matt, what do you think it was about? Was it over?
I don't know, but Sin Cara's been getting in a fight with a lot of people over the years. I think he's a backstage instigator. So I don't know. I have no idea.
This just in: Kalisto has been traded to Raw for Sin Cara.
No. You can trade Kalisto to Raw; it would make sense, but don't trade him for another cruiserweight. You know, for fuck's sake.
Is Sin Cara under 205?
He has to be. Let's look him up.
You look him up here.
I wonder if I should look him up under Sin Cara or Hunico.
Either probably pulls up.
I'm going to look up Hunico first. 5'10", 205.
Oh, he better not.
He's right there on the blot.
Don't eat that other cheeseburger and catering.
So, yeah, he's perfect for it.
This week in Cody Rhodes news. Cody Rhodes is going to be coming to Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
December 2nd.
I tweet. They revealed this during the draft Tuesday night. It was very smart marketing by Cody and ROH.
Yeah, Cody.
So in the middle of the draft, I tweeted Cody Rhodes has been drafted to ROH.
Cody Rhodes says they can have the paint. I'll take the honor. Final battle. It's going to be at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. It's I don't know if this was this is an official poster of Ring of Honor, and Cody kind of superimposed his face in the skyline.
I thought it looked cool either way.
I love it. Yeah, it's basically Times Square at nighttime, and Cody Rhodes in the dark, looking down on Times Square from the sky. I thought that was a very badass picture. Final battle. Right off the bat, man, who do you want him to face? Jay Lethal?
Unless they're bringing him in before that pay-per-view, him against Lethal for the title right now is way too soon. The greedy part of me hopes they're bringing him in beforehand because I would love for him to be at that Baltimore TV taping October 29th.
Oh, of course.
I think that would be fucking fantastic because obviously you're taping TV October 29th. You're probably taping TV all the way to Best in the World.
Yeah.
So, if he's in a program for something like that, like for the world title, he should be there. I think that would be great. I would love that. I love me some Cody Rhodes at the TV taping in Baltimore. That'd be great. Make it happen.
Ryback took to Twitter on
of course he did.
The same day as the draft, updating fans when his WWE deal expires. He says an update for the good ones. 1 month left for 1 month left for no's before I resume wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing regimen for return. I don't know what he had a sinus surgery, I think. That's what he meant. But so he can be cleared to go back to training in 6 days. And he goes, contract up August 8th or 17th, depending on certain circumstances. Future's going to be great. Feed me more. I think with Moose, Mike Bennett over there, I think...
What's Ryborn doing in the Impact Zone?
I think TNA could... I think Ryback could fit in TNA.
That's where he's going, dude. Let's not even mix words. That's exactly where he's going.
Ryback, would you like a sarsaparilla?
Oh, I'm sure he would. I wish New Japan would sue him for his t-shirt.
Not only do wrestlers get the call-up, but NXT referees get the call-up too. And on yesterday, Sean Bennett took to Twitter and said, as of last night, my 3+ years with NXT comes to a close. Extremely proud and humbled to join the Raw brand in the coming weeks. He went on to thank Matt Bloom, Sarah Del Rey, Robbie Brookside, Norman Smiley, Terry Taylor, and many other people for his time with them and them helping him out. And being a small part of the growth of NXT was something he's real grateful for. He said, went from 20 people in attendance to 15,000 in New York City. So, and it's still growing. So, pretty cool for Sean Bennett as he's going to get the promotion up to the Raw brand. Roman Reigns is now officially cleared to return to action from his 30-day suspension. That was as of yesterday, actually, and so that's going to set up of course, the main event at Battleground for the triple threat with the Shield. And it sounds like he'll be. I think there's a house shows coming up here before Battleground, right?
Yeah, he'll be working some house shows before Battleground on Sunday. So if you have tickets to a house show this weekend, you'll most likely be seeing Mr. Reigns.
And since the wellness policy was enacted in 2005, this is the first time that a suspension has been incorporated into the storylines. But shit, they really had no choice.
Yeah,
you couldn't just have vignettes of Reigns sitting there. Some quick results from the first round of the Super J Cup. Matt Sydal defeats Tomato. Kenyo defeats Gurkin Mask. Taichi defeats Yuma Aoyagi. Sorry. Jushin Thunder Liger defeated Aita. Will Ospreay defeats Titan. Kanemaru defeats Bushi. Taguchi defeated Harada. And Kushida defeated Ishimori. And I believe day 2 of the Super J Cup is set for Friday. So we'll give you some more updates there. Battle of Los Angeles is shaping up to be just killer. And we've got the cards for the first 2 nights. And it's going to be fun. Adam Cole tweets that he's taken himself out of the Battle of Los Angeles because he already won it. And he will be teaming with the Young Bucks during the weekend because there's going to be obviously non-tournament matches sprinkled throughout the weekend as well. And PWG announced that Cedric Alexander will be his replacement. Here are the matchups for the BOLA tournament. Oh my fucking god. Phoenix and Will Ospreay in night 1. That will be a treat right there. A couple of independent legends. Liger wasn't really an independent legend, but Chris Hero is. Liger takes on Chris Hero. That's going to be a fun one. Matt Sydal, John Hennigan, a little WWE reunion. Evan Bourne against John Morrison. Ricochet takes on Jeff Cobb. I am not familiar with Jeff Cobb at all, so but we all know Ricochet. Marty Scurll takes on Pentagon Jr., one of my favorites in Lucha Underground is Pentagon Jr. Tommy End against Zack Sabre Jr., another interesting matchup there. Night 2 sees Matthew Riddle take on Kyle O'Reilly. Dalton Castle takes on CWC competitor Jack Gallagher. Mark Andrews takes on Pete Dunne. Kaimitachi takes on Trevor Lee. That'll be a fun one to see, I think. Cedric Alexander takes on Mark Haskins. And Cody Rhodes against Sami Callihan. That's quite an interesting matchup there, Matt.
Yeah, it should be a fun tournament.
The boys with Dalton Castle will take on the Bullet Club. I almost said the club. Oops. Ospreay, Ricochet, and Seidel are going to also take on the club in Night 2. Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. from Lucha Underground, they will take on Chris Hero and Tommy End on Night 2 as well. So Battle of Los Angeles looks just phenomenal. Can't wait to see how that takes shape. Nikki Bella took to Twitter this afternoon, actually, as we record, and said she went to see the doctor this week. And as you can see by her tweet, it was some good news that she's in the Performance Center now getting trained. So Nikki Bella is getting ready to come back, and who knows where she'll be. End up probably too soon to say she would be the Sasha Banks surprise partner, though it was brought up.
It could happen.
It was brought up. It could happen.
We don't know.
She's cleared.
She would probably be the only other person other than Bayley that they could put in that spot and not get a shit reaction. I truly believe if it's anybody other than Bayley or, maybe Nikki Bella, I think it's going to go over like a fart in church.
What about Nia Jax?
She's a heel.
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't make sense to bring her in as Sasha's partner right now.
Sometimes they don't adhere to that on the main roster. So good news for one of our NXT favorites, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. He is now signed a full-time deal with NXT, so he's here for good, and that's good because he's a hell of a talent. And Evolve released a nice little farewell video to Johnny Gargano as well. So good to see him full time. And a couple of interesting names are being bandied about as going to be a tag team on SmackDown. Rhino, which kind of explains why he came back to NXT, and Kurt Hawkins.
Where are you hearing that they're going to be a tag team? Because I have not read that anywhere.
I can't remember where I saw it.
I have not read that anywhere.
Maybe that's somebody construed that.
I would say that's construed. I know they're both coming in. Signs point to them both coming to SmackDown, although that could change last minute, because Vince likes to change his mind every 15 minutes. But I have heard nothing about them coming in as a tag team. Like, absolutely nothing.
I'm excited to see Kurt Hawkins back. Hopefully this time around they treat him right. But and interesting if he goes to SmackDown because Zack Ryder's over there too.
Woo.
There could be a hype bro stable. I like Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Kurt Hawkins.
He was way underutilized in the company, so I'm glad to see him back. Rhino, I wonder if then maybe one should assume Tommy Dreamer might be coming too.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Dreamer.
I wouldn't be surprised. But very excited to hear that Kurt Hawkins is coming back and whatnot. Big news came a couple days ago to start the week. A new lawsuit that has 50 people, I believe, named on it from the past has filed a lawsuit against the WWE and for the basically in regards to the WWE basically put corporate gain over the wrestler's health, safety, and financial security by choosing to leave those severely injured with no recourse, basically kind of still pointing to the CTE type of stuff. Former wrestlers include King Kong Bundy, Jimmy Snuka, Paul Orndorff. It says Sabu, but Sabu has come out and said that he is not. He was not supposed to. Or, they don't know. He doesn't know how his name got on there. Ahmed Johnson.
Drugs.
It's all. Yeah.
That's why his name got on there. Drugs.
This is Dave and Earl Hebner. Chavo Guerrero Sr., a.k.a. Chavo Classic. Ken Patera.
We don't need to name all 50 of these jackasses that are looking for their 15 minutes of fame.
Just going through some of the more notable names. Muhammad Hassan, Shane Douglas, Marty Jannetty, John Heidenreich. Now, this is interesting. This was brought up. It might have been with Mike Johnson. There was no such thing as CTE back then.
Not for a lot of these people. It's a frivolous lawsuit. That's going to be thrown out. Honestly, I think every single person taking part of this
just fuck themselves.
Yeah, I do. I think they've all fucked themselves, and I think it's really bad for their future. Because to me, if I'm Vince, anybody that's on this list, you've burned your bridge with me. I'm done with you. And it's not a smart move by these people. And I feel bad for some of the people that probably just got tagged on at the end because they saw these names on it and you're like, oh yeah, you know what, I should join this too, because you just fucked yourself over too. It's a mess.
Yeah, and throw on top of that post WWE, you probably wrestled for Joe Schmo and further injured yourself there, and I don't know.
This will get thrown out and buried like every other lawsuit, and it's so much ado about nothing.
I really liked what the coach had to say about this, in saying defending Vince in this. Did you see that video?
Who knows better than the coach?
Exactly.
Who knows better than somebody who's lived the life?
He said himself he's had 10 to 20 concussions, but he said Vince is the most loyal guy you'll ever meet. So, yeah, very interesting. But yeah, I fully agree. We're gonna see that dissipate about as quickly as it came up. So this is interesting. Paul Heyman offers Will Ospreay an Evolve contract. Have you heard about any of this at all, Matt, or know anything about this?
Yeah, it was at one of Paul Heyman's like stand-up shows over in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Is Ospreay not signed to New Japan?
I thought he was, but maybe he's not. I don't know.
And you know what the next step is after Evolve for a lot of guys?
Yeah. Well, I know the story I heard a couple months ago was that WWE wanted Ospreay for the Cruiserweight Classic, but he was contractually obligated to New Japan and wasn't able to do it.
For the Super Juniors.
Yeah, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Maybe he was only obligated for the Super Juniors. Maybe that was just a contract he signed there, but he's still kind of more independent.
Maybe. Japan keeps their contracts really tight-lipped.
Close to the vest?
Yeah, I mean, so who freaking knows? But yeah, there's video proof out there that Will Ospreay was handed an Evolve contract from Paul Heyman. So
Paul Heyman's contract has expired as well, but fully expect a deal to get done here pretty soon.
I don't think Lesnar will have it any other way.
Exactly. Is Lesnar not going to even be on TV until SummerSlam?
I'm hearing Lesnar will not be on TV until SummerSlam. And then you won't see him again until, I'm hearing, at the earliest Survivor Series. And that might be even later than that. You might not even see him for the rest of the year until the Rumble. But yeah, he's... Excuse me.
All good.
Yeah, he's... With him and Orton being on opposite brands, they did it perfectly. You don't need Brock on TV until SummerSlam. Who's he going to interact with? He can't interact with the guy who's facing because he's on the other show. So it worked out perfectly that they're on different brands until SummerSlam, and they're missing nothing by not having Brock on TV until then.
What are you looking for on the highlight reel with Randy Orton at Battleground besides Jericho eating an RKO?
That's all I want to see. Other than that, I don't give a shit.
Drink it in, man. TNA gets a little bit of a shot in the arm with the digital Youku platform in China. Impact Wrestling is going to be on in China. Well, it says new episodes every Wednesday, so I don't know how that works. Is this like a Canada thing where they'll get it a day early compared to the rest of us?
Well, it's certainly possible, but I mean, China might be on a different times. I don't know what China's time zone is comparable to us. I mean, their Wednesday might be our Thursday, or vice versa. I mean, I am honest to God, I don't know what China's time zone is. The time once we get past the UK, I'm very fuzzy on anybody's time zones, and I get them all confused and fucked up all the time. So I don't know. You know,
that's a good point. WWE sent a fan survey out to members of their mailing list seeking feedback on new benefits for the WWE Network, including the following. Downloads for offline viewing on mobile devices, providing the ability to buy merchandise such as video games and WWE apparel before they are available to the public, also travel package discounts, the ability to vote for WWE Hall of Fame inductees, offering discounted subscription bundles. Examples were given: 1 year for $100 or 6 months for $49.99. Offering a discount for Hulu Plus and or WWE Network Hulu Plus plan subscribers combined, providing 1 month of the WWE Network for free after every 12 consecutive months of being a paid subscriber, and also an ad-free WWE.com. Does any of those strike you there, Matt?
A couple seem neat, but I'm not truly inclined to pay more for the network than I already am. You're gonna have to make it some crazy value for me to want to spend more to get these little quote unquote perks.
If they up it to $12.99, I would, and it includes Hulu, I would gladly up my price, because I used to be a Hulu subscriber. I just recently canceled it. I would gladly get back on the Hulu train for just $3 more a month. That would be good. An ad-free WWE.com. Ads don't bother me. They show one ad at the beginning, and that's it.
Dude, WWE.com runs so poorly on.
Oh well, .com. Never mind.
WWE.com's garbage. It runs like shit on my browser. It runs like shit on my phone. It's bad when TNA's website's better than yours now. It's just
WWE's
garbage.
always had kind of a WWE's always kind of had a verbose, a sloppy website. I think it's been kind of, it's heavy.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was always easy to navigate, and it always loaded. It might not have been the best website in the world, but it always, for the most part, it worked. Now with the new design, it doesn't work at all. It's practically broken. It's absolutely a joke. I hate the new website. And whoever designed it, if WWE paid you for it, you should be fired.
Some Maryland Championship Wrestling news. History is made with the first ever back-to-back Shamrock Cup winner, and that is Lio Rush. He's the first one to win that. He defeats Ciampa and a few others in an elimination match, and so congrats to Lio Rush there for winning the Shamrock Cup for the second straight year. Some more Cody Rhodes news. He has implied on Twitter, this was earlier in the week, that that he has been told to stop using his ring name. Obviously, WWE sent a mass amount of cease and desists over the past week to people. So apparently maybe Cody got one of those, and he took to Twitter and says, "I own Rhodes. He was with me for my first breath, and I was with him for his last. There's no piece of paper on earth that takes my name away." I think obviously somebody screwed up when they sent that to Cody Rhodes, don't you think?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Obviously, legally, yes, maybe the WWE owns it, but, come on. So, hopefully something is better on that. Hopefully smarter heads prevail on that. Ring of Honor, Kevin Kelly has now been announced that he's working full-time with the company. He had previously been working his regular job and then handling the announced duties. But now he is full-time with Ring of Honor, and he will be working with talent relations. So basically, cool. Yeah, that is very cool for Kevin Kelly. So it sounds like he'll kind of handle that as kind of a liaison, and go from there. And they also mentioned he will also kind of do some creative team stuff and maybe even some agent stuff there, along with B.J. Whitmer, Christopher Daniels, and Steve Corino. Those are guys that toss out ideas and creative stuff, and also are agents for the matches. So very cool for Kevin Kelly, who's been the voice of Ring of Honor for some time now. Some sad news for one of our favorite mid-carder guys, Shark Boy, Stone Cold Shark Boy. Someone stole his vest, so he's offering a reward with no questions asked if he for the return of his vest. So some jackass stole his vest. That's not smart. Matt, you're finally gonna get your wish in the morning.
I am.
You got your wish. You finally got your wish in the morning. You can start your day with a nice bowl of Bootios.
About damn time.
Bootios. They make sure you ain't booty. With some Bootios and some marshmallows, and you can apparently buy this from FYE if you want to spend $12 on a box of cereal. I hope that ain't the price.
I don't know. I mean, you can get the t-shirt. You can get the t-shirt and the cereal for like a little under 25. So I think that's the much better deal.
A box of cereal for $13 though.
I'm just saying, if you get the t-shirt and the cereal, that's not bad at all.
It is include the t-shirt or no?
No, there's a package on the website that comes with a t-shirt and a box of cereal for like 25.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, on FYE?
Yeah.
Okay. NXT from this week. Kick it off with Rhino and Samoa Joe. As expected, a couple of big bulls locking horns, so that was pretty entertaining. Obviously, we have seen this matchup in the past with Impact Wrestling. And to nobody's surprise, as Rhino sets up for the gore, Joe hits him with a kick and then applies the Coquina Clutch to tap out Rhino. Tom mentions that the main event for this evening will be Bayley and Nia Jax. Asuka's interviewed backstage by Andrea DeMarco, and she asks who would she rather face for the title, and she says she would like to fight them both. I almost thought that was going to be a foreshadowing to what you predicted, Matt, with the triple threat, but now that Nia Jax got drafted, I think that's pretty much done.
Yeah.
American Alpha comes out, and before American Alpha can even get to the ring, they get attacked from behind by the Authors of Pain. They beat them down. They finally get separated. Regal comes out to check on American Alpha, and Alpha says, fuck this, we're still going to fight. And so the match continued. Gable and Jordan did show a lot of heart throughout the match. Some great suplexes, especially a smaller guy like Gable throwing a suplex on one of those Authors of Pain, who we still don't know the names of yet. And that was pretty fucking impressive. But in the end, though, it was too much. I think the beatdown took enough out of American Alpha to where the Authors of Pain set up their clothesline Russian leg sweep finisher to get the 1-2-3, which will obviously be a send off probably for Alpha as they got drafted to SmackDown. Kathy Kelly interviews the Revival, asks them what's next for the team. And Dash says that they should get a big thank you letter from the Authors of Pain because they shattered American Alpha in the 2 out of 3 falls match prior on NXT. And they said they're the best tag team. There's no tag team that could beat them. Enter Gargano and Ciampa, who stopped by to remind them, oh, we beat you a couple weeks ago. And Johnny tells them the clock is ticking. We fully expect that to be a tag team title match at the Takeover show. Next match, Patrick Clark. Hey, man. One of probably the best from Tough Enough, you would say, Matt?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
with a very patriotic get up there. Wow. He loves him some America with those tights. He took on Austin Aries. Basically a squash match, but what'd you see out of Patrick Clark here?
I've always seen a lot of Patrick Clark, so this wasn't anything new. It was just a quick showing against Aries. I thought he looked good.
And after the match, No Way Jose comes to the ring and attacks Aries. Hey, finally a little fire out of No Way Jose. I loved it. I liked it a lot. This was a side we have never seen out of Jose, so I think that was a good job of what they did there, and to kind of further that feud. And Aries escapes through the crowd. And then we get our main event of the evening, Nia Jax against Bayley. Another great, phenomenal match. Further showing that Nia Jax getting drafted is a good pick, and she's only going to continue to improve from here. I thought her and Bayley had a great match here. I love the little jackhammer move by Nia Jax. I thought that was a pretty cool move. She set up for the leg drop, but she stopped and was going to deliver the leg drop off of the middle rope, but Bayley jumps up and gives a sweet looking Bayley to belly, or belly to Bayley, Bayley to belly. Sorry, Bayley to belly for the 1, 2, 3. And so that basically cements that it's going to be Bayley and Asuka at TakeOver, and with Nia Jax getting drafted and losing on NXT. So basically, NXT was a kind of a send off for a couple of folks. The second night of the Cruiserweight Classic took place following NXT on Wednesday. We kick it off with the veteran Tajiri, and he took on Aussie Damian Slater in the first round. I thought for 47 in the style that he presents, I thought Tajiri looked pretty good here, Matt. I didn't have any problems with him at all. Did you?
No, not at all.
I thought Slater is very athletic. I think Slater is a guy who eventually will work his way into that cruiserweight division down the line. I think he's very athletic. He looked good. He had some sweet moves against Tajiri. If we're talking about style and match, probably a mistake trying to go kick for kick with Tajiri, because Tajiri's got some sweet, devastating kicks. And of course, he got the crowd popping with the tarantula, something we haven't seen on WWE TV in a long, long time. But Tajiri with the handspring elbow, one of his traditional moves there, followed by the buzzsaw kick, and Tajiri gets the pin. 1, 2, 3, and so there was my second misstep in my predictions for the Cruiserweight Classic. And it's funny, they're in the same part of the bracket. So the second round between Grand Metalik and Tajiri, I got completely wrong. So
good job, Jobber.
Hey, can't win them all. But I thought Tajiri looked pretty damn good here for 47 in his style. It was very cool. Do you think he gets a farewell run in the Cruiserweight division on Raw?
I don't see why not.
I mean,
I don't have a problem with it. If they give it to him, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I mean, crowd popped pretty good for that tarantula, man. And I didn't know at 47 if he could still do the handspring elbow pretty good, but he looked pretty solid on that. Other than take a look at the career of T.J. Perkins, one of my favorites in the tournament, and a guy that I've got going to the Final Four. So they kind of take a look at his career and his style. And then they go to the Mac, and he's heavily influenced by Michael Jackson and says he wants to be the Michael Jackson of wrestling. And so obviously heavily influenced by Michael Jackson, he comes to the ring with a glove, doing a little dance. So then the Mac and T.J. Perkins lock up here. Obviously, we know T.J. Perkins is a hell of a talent. This is my first time of seeing DeMac, and I think there's some promise with DeMac. I think he could be a great babyface cruiserweight. But man, that guy is skinny as hell, though. I think they say he weighed in at like 150 something. I'm like, holy crap. But I think he's got a good chance to eventually be in that be in that the division there. What did you see out of the MAC there, Matt?
I didn't know of him until now. I thought he had a good show, and I didn't have a problem with him.
I think the showboating, if we're talking kayfabe, the showboating cost him, and he ended up he hurt his knee on a flying knee off the turnbuckle. But then Perkins then took advantage of that hurt knee and put on a killer knee bar to make the MAC tap out. And that sets up TJ Perkins to face the winner of Gargano and Ciampa. Oh man, that's going to be a fun one. They take a look at Mustafa Ali and his career, saying he's been wrestling for 13 years and he's the most rounded wrestler with all the styles that he has learned. They take a look at Lince Dorado, who's been wrestling for 10 years. He's wrestled all over the world and brings the Lucha Libre experience. This is the biggest stage of his career. And for never seeing Lince Dorado, Matt, I was very impressed by the Lucha. He had some sick moves, like the reverse Rana, driving Ali's head into the mat. That was an amazing fucking move right there. So I was really impressed with him, and Ali had some good moves too. He hits that Spanish fly, something that Johnny Mundo does on a Lucha Underground a lot. Basically, kind of a flipping rock bottom off of the turnbuckle, which is an amazing looking move. But in the end, Dorado hits a shooting star press for the 1-2-3, and Dorado will go on to face the winner of Rich Swann and Jason Lee. Main event time, and they show Tozawa, and he says if the fans know him or not, they'll be entertained by what he does. He says he is very entertaining in the ring, and he's always wanted to wrestle in the WWE. And then Kenneth Johnson, a hard-fighting man out of the city of Detroit. He says he has the heart and determination to fight on. He's here to encourage others. And I thought this match between Johnson and Tozawa was great. They played off the heart of Kenneth Johnson and kind of a Daniel Bryan type of guy. With the heart and the drive when you're getting beat down and you keep fighting, and I think they showed that really well with the veteran Tozawa. And for those that have not seen Tozawa, man, that guy was pretty damn fun in the ring. And how about them wild yells he has? And obviously there were some Tozawa fans in the crowd, as they must know to yell along with him when he does that in the ring. Very entertaining. This was a great match, though. Johnson showed a lot of heart. I fully expect him to be in the system down the line, I think. And in the end, Johnson had hit a modified unprettier for a near fall, goes up the top rope but misses a moonsault, and then Johnson with a roll up and a very near fall. That was 2 9/10. That was a very near fall. But then Tozawa hits a snap German suplex with a nice little delay on it, and bridges on it for the 1-2-3. So Tozawa moves on to face the winner of Jack Gallagher and Fabian Eichner in the second round there. And so that was the Cruiserweight Classic again. Next week they set up the stage with Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Tyson Dukes, Drew Gulak, Gerv Shira, Anthony Bennett and Tony Nese, and Raul Mendoza against the Brian Kendrick. Matt, once again, I think week 2 brought the energy and fun that week 1 did. There was no drop-off at all. I thought it was a phenomenal show. You agree?
Oh, yeah, dude. Cruiserweight Classics. An awesome hour of wrestling every week. Loved it so far, and I'm sure I'm going to continue to love it as they go forward.
Ring of Honor this week, basically the welcoming of one star while we're saying goodbye to another. Jay White makes his Ring of Honor debut against Kamatachi and gets the win. Then after the match, the Addiction beat down Jay White, which prompts the Motor City Machine Guns to come in and save Jay White. Saban gets on the mic and says he's sick and tired of Daniels and Kazarian sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. And says he doesn't know why Kamatachi's aligned with these douchebags. They're nothing but a bad influence. There's a nice little wink and a nod. Wasn't that Kazarian's nickname in TNA?
I think that was their tag team name in TNA.
Oh, was it their tag team name? So he says, why not have a 6-man tag match here and now? And Nigel McGuinness gets up and says, it's on. So we got a 6-man tag, which ended up with Jay White getting a pin on Christopher Daniels with the Kiwi Crusher. So welcome to Ring of Honor, Jay White. You get 2 wins on television. So I think they must be looking for some big things from the kid from New Japan. A couple of guys we saw in Dallas on a dark match for a Supercard of Honor. Shane Taylor and Keith Lee, a couple of big guys that kind of look like the old wrestler from WCW that wore the shades and the suits. His name is Hughes.
Curtis Hughes.
Yeah, Curtis Hughes. We thought that they were a pretty decent tag team in Dallas, right?
I think they were fine in Dallas. I have not yet seen this week's ROH TV yet, so I don't know how they performed on TV.
They took out a couple of jobbers, but the smaller guy of the group, I think it's Keith. I think Keith Lee is the smaller guy of the group. I can't remember. But, oh, man, he does a dive over the top rope that was holy shit. I think he did that in Dallas, too, didn't he?
I can't remember, dude.
But Taylor and Lee, they took on some jobbers and defeated them pretty handily. After the match, War Machine came out and attacked them because, obviously, this kind of was set up before where Taylor and Lee had attacked War Machine at a house show prior. So that sets up another feud there. BJ Whitmer makes his way to the ring. He is joined by Kevin Sullivan and basically kind of says that the legacy of evil was there were 2 disciples that it could be passed on to, him and Steve Corino. And Steve kept that from BJ Whitmer, which was part of the reason, I guess, for the feud. And so that he says the chapter is over and has been written, but the book is yet to be finished. He says his name is B.J. Whitmer, and he is an evil man. So obviously, we all know that feud is still going to continue. Main event of television was the farewell for Roddy Strong as he took on Dalton Castle. Great match between the two, and Dalton Castle wins with the Bangarang. And if you go to Ring of Honor on YouTube, you can see the farewell of Roddy. Goes around the crowd shaking hands, and then gets on the mic real quick, and says his goodbyes, and obviously a great reaction for Mr. Ring of Honor, who's now going to head to Evolve and most likely NXT from there. I didn't get to watch Impact tonight, but Matt, you did, and you said it was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I didn't see all of it, but what I saw of it, I wasn't impressed with. It was okay. It definitely wasn't as strong as their last couple weeks of TV.
Brother Nero took on Mike Bennett in a playoff Bound for Glory playoff series, which was won by Matt Bennett. Matt Hardy took on James Storm, and Broken Matt got the win there to no surprise. Then Eli Drake took on EC3 for another playoff series match, which was won by EC3. No surprise there. And another no surprise, Drew Galloway defeated Bram in the playoff series as well. Then we had the title for title match between Lashley and Eddie Edwards. And so now your new X Division champion is Bobby Lashley. And Matt, you says this just screams a past angle all over it.
Yeah, it really does, and I hate it. I didn't like it the first time around, and I don't like it now either. When they had Kurt Angle collecting all the titles, I don't care for it.
Monday Night Raw kicks off with the eve of the brand split draft, and they don't dance around it for too long. They bring out Shane and Stephanie. They announce their picks for commissioner. And to a surprise of a lot of people, Stephanie McMahon picks Mick Foley for her GM. Well, what'd you think of that? What'd you think of that selection, Matt?
I was surprised because I figured she was going to take a heel. So I was surprised by Foley. I like it. I don't have a problem with it.
How long before he gets fired?
Don't say that.
I just he's a face, she's a heel. I got this feeling that once Holy Foley is off of the network, it's first season's done. I think he's going to get the axe. I just got this feeling.
Well, I hope you're wrong, but I guess we'll find out.
This was no surprise because WWE spoiled themselves, but of course Shane McMahon taking Daniel Bryan, and a fucking tremendous pop for Daniel Bryan when he came out. It was no surprise, and a lot of people in the crowd knew it was going to be Daniel Bryan, but still the pop for when he came out.
That's the perfect example of, even though if somebody knows and expects something is going to happen, still,
when it's good,
when it's still good, give it to them anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, people will be happy with it. You know, everything doesn't always have to be a surprise. If there's a rumor online and it garners a positive reaction and that's what you were going to do, don't change it just because it was talked about online. Go with it. In the case of Daniel Bryan, it shows just because people knew about it didn't mean it wasn't the right thing to do, because in the end of the day, that's what everybody wanted anyway.
Exactly. And while some aren't happy about the SmackDown draft, we'll see how they build on it, and if they can get some key free agents, and see where they go from there. It's going to be interesting. So it's going to be an interesting 2 nights of television next week for sure. At least we hope so. Kevin Owens and Jericho took on Cesaro and Sami Zayn. Very solid match, no surprise with who's involved. They got about 13 minutes with the good guys getting the win there. They show the Golden Truth backstage talking to Daniel Bryan, and Swagger and O'Neal greet him. Obviously, everybody kind of saying, hey, draft this guy. Draft me right here. Draft me. Miz is on commentary for his match for the match of Darren Young against Alberto Del Rio, and poor Del Rio getting jobbed to Darren Young after 3 minutes, huh?
Meh.
But obviously they had to put over Young on a match by his own in order to kind of legitimize the Intercontinental title match coming up at Battleground. They showed some more of Shane and Daniel talking to people, this time in the Big Show. Next up is probably the highlight of my Raw, the 12-man tag team match. This was a very long segment, but it was fun. I thought John Cena kicked it off by his entrance, and then they plugged that he was going to be on Off the Top Rope with Coach. Enzo and Cena goes and is plugging the draft for SmackDown. Mentions that Battleground's on the network, so hey, there you go. There's your advertisements. And he says the club will try to beat up John Cena, but they'll realize that they can't see him because he's got the certified G's. Cue Enzo and Cass. They come to the ring and do their own things. And Enzo, probably one of his better promos, cuts one on Luke Gallows. Without ugly in the world, there'd be no beauty, so Luke Gallows thanks you for your sacrifice. Luke Gallows, the only time women open their mouths for you is to when they yawn. And Enzo then says, AJ Styles, you got a haircut like a soccer mom. How you doing? And says, Anderson is generic like the Times New Roman font. Cena was confused at what Enzo was saying. Cass says, well, that's just what Enzo does. And then they get into the SAWFT, but before they can finish that off, AJ Styles' music cuts them off, and the club comes out, and Styles says, Anderson says the club has got chemistry just like himself and his hot Asian wife. I need to Google Carl Anderson's hot Asian wife. I'm sure he's not lying, but I've never seen her before. Anderson wondered if Cena's team just met catering a few weeks ago. They shared a laugh over that, and they said the Gallows and the club have had each other's backs since day one, and they said they're a well-oiled machine, and tonight, together, they get to beat up John Cena. The New Day comes out, makes their entrance, and Kingston says, first off, New Day's all happy and jovial, so apparently the final deletion didn't really take much out of them. Basically, so that just further cements that WWE is doing that in reaction to the final deletion, if you didn't already know. Kingston says the club likes to talk about beating things, and then Big E cleverly puts the word jerk into his sentence. And Styles laughs at the New Day being scared of the Wyatts, and Woods says they are not normal men, but they are not affected by this because they are your WWE World Tag Team Champions. And then Kingston asks Cena how he doesn't really understand how you doing things. Cena says he just doesn't get it. Well, maybe it's because Cena's old. Then Woods drops the Pokemon Go line, and the crowd went wild, Matt. Have you seen the new Up, Up, Down, Down with Xavier Woods and Goldust playing Pokemon Go?
No, I have not.
It's pretty entertaining. Goldust hates video games, but he says he likes Pokemon Go because he actually gets to go out and do things. So Xavier brags about being a level 21 trainer. Team Valor. Sorry, I'm not on Team Valor, but that's okay.
Because you're a jobber.
Wyatt family makes their entrance. I guess they don't want to speak because they go to commercial right after that, and then we get ourselves an interesting or an entertaining 12-man tag team match. And I bet Vince oiled himself up real good when Strowman and Cass stared off, huh? God damn, I love this one. Fun match, though. I enjoyed the whole segment, Matt. Did you?
It was fine.
The tag match went for quite a while, 20 minutes before the bad guys got the W when Styles hits the Styles Clash on Enzo. And so the Wyatts and the club get the victory there. Shane and Foley are talking to Apollo Crews backstage as, of course, everybody's meeting with the general managers and the commissioners to try to get themselves drafted. What I thought was completely fucking awesome, Seth Rollins' empty arena promo. I loved it, Matt. Did you?
Yeah, it was good.
Basically kind of recaps the history of the Shield, kind of does a slow walk down the aisle, kind of like the Shield would as he's talking. I just thoroughly loved it. I loved it. Foley is talking to Breeze and Fandango, and then Shane shows up and asks them to leave, and Shane wondered why Foley would work for Stephanie. Foley says how he's talked about how Stephanie's rise to power over the years, but he sees her power and drive, and Foley thinks he can better himself in this role. And so that was that. Baron Corbin squashes Sin Cara after a couple minutes. Thanks for coming. Charlotte and Dana Brooke took on Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. This really didn't get too far because Becky and Natalya start fighting again. Dean Ambrose cuts another promo with the kind of the similar to the old Shield days when they would grab the camera off the ground and do a promo backstage. I really like that. It was kind of short and sweet though, compared to Rollins having a little longer promo, but still I enjoyed it. Kind of a nice little nod to the Shield days. Rusev and Sheamus in a sort of reuniting of the League of Nations take on Ziggler and Ryder. This lasted all of 4 minutes as Ziggler taps out to the Accolade. We get another backstage segment with the Ascension talking to Foley. And then finally our main event, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. I thought it was a very solid match. And Matt, you basically fucking called that, didn't you?
Yeah, called it as soon as the match was announced what they were going to do, and I was 100% dead on.
Stephanie grabs the mic, congratulates our new champion, Seth Rollins, even though they didn't officially announce it. And then the WWE Twitter account said, hey, turn on the network, we got more. And Shane McMahon announced that Ambrose is still champion. And the referee asked for the replay and said both shoulders were down. So it was an even finish. And so Ambrose is still your WWE champion. Ambrose celebrates with the title. Rollins attacks him from behind, took the title, left with it. Then Rollins went back to the ring with it. And Ambrose nails Dirty Deeds and poses with the title to send the crowd home happy. I really liked that they kind of did the typically off-camera stuff on a Raw and put it on the network. I thought that was kind of neat. Did they really need to have another match on SmackDown, though, Matt?
No.
I agree. I'm like, what? Why? We already went through the picks, so we aren't going to go through that again. Cena took on Luke Gallows. That lasted about 6 minutes with John Cena going over. Bray Wyatt, Rusev and The Miz, champions pair up to take on the challengers Young and Zack Ryder. And this is where Young, for the first time, applies the crossface chicken wing and gets the win for Darren Young and Zack Ryder. And I thought it was kind of interesting. I saw that, oh, look, Darren Young and Zack Ryder are tagging. Those are the two people that I got to meet at Access, when I was in the Paul Heyman line. But still, it was good to meet those guys. So I didn't have any complaints. I just was kind of mad that I stood in line for an hour and a half and never got to meet Paul Heyman. Bray Wyatt took on Xavier Woods, kind of a very short match. Wyatt does the crab move to kind of spook Woods and then hits Sister Abigail for the win there. After the next round of picks, we get a handicap match between Charlotte and Dana Brooke against Sasha Banks. That lasted all of 3 minutes with the women, Charlotte and Dana, using the numbers game to get the victory. Obviously, that's going to set up the match with a mystery partner on Sunday, which we'll give you our predictions in just a second. Jericho took on Cesaro, another 5-minute little short match with Jericho getting a win, which I thought was interesting. And then we get a plethora of draft picks before we get our final. And they announced that the final 30 picks will be on the WWE Network in an hour-long special afterwards. And then we got our WWE Championship match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. The only thing this accomplished for me, Matt, it was good. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was the only match that had any kind of length to it, because usually draft shows are kind of shit in terms of wrestling. So this was the only highlight of that. I like that Ambrose got the clean win over Rollins, because that was something Rollins was hanging over his head the whole time. So I thought that was all right. But again, this did not need to be done. We already had this on Monday. We're going to see these two in the ring again on Sunday. It didn't need to be done. I think they just were overdoing it because they're splitting them up in the draft, Matt. That's the only thing I could think of.
And I think it hurts any creative direction that they can go in on Monday, saying that Rollins is the uncrowned champion, that they could have used for Monday.
Mm-hmm.
If, it was a draw, but Stephanie said Seth won, and if Dean pinned Roman on Sunday and Seth wasn't involved, they could have said on Raw Monday, well, Seth is the uncrowned champion, so he's our champion. And I think they completely ruined that on SmackDown Tuesday.
Yeah, that kind of fueled the rumors that, well, maybe they're only going with one world title.
And I don't think they are.
Yeah. So you weren't happy with the draft show, just basically because of how it played out with SmackDown and how some guys were taken so late.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, was not a fan.
Let's close up shop with our Battleground preview. 8 shows are on the 8 matches are on the card. Nothing has been announced for the pre-show yet, so I don't know if there's not going to be a pre-show match.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear something before the show happens.
My gut would be Becky Lynch, Natalya.
I'm fine with that.
Let's go over our predictions. As we said, in addition to these 8 matches, there will be a highlight reel hosted by Chris Jericho with Randy Orton. This will be Randy Orton's first appearance since surgery, so this will be a nice little moment to hear a nice big fucking pop for Randy Orton when he returns. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. Sasha Banks and mystery partner taking on Charlotte and Dana Brooke. First off, we hope the mystery partner's Bayley. You said you'd be okay with it if it's Nikki Bella?
It was about the other two I'd be okay with, and I think a lot of people feel the same way.
There really isn't anybody you could surprise either, right? I mean, there's nobody.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody. It's Bayley or bust, I think. And obviously with Sasha Banks, obviously Sasha's team's going to get the win because this sets up for SummerSlam.
Exactly.
Right? New Day takes on the Wyatt family. 6-man tag match, so the titles are on the line, and plus these guys are on different shows. I did like the compound fight. I thought it was interesting. Granted, it was the idea was obviously a direct reaction to the final deletion, but I still think in its own right it was still interesting. Since they're in different brands, I'm gonna go New Day. I'm gonna go New Day just because I can see the Wyatt family getting a win to maybe if they were gonna get a separate tag team thing, but I don't see a tag team forming with Bray and Eric Rowan.
I think Rowan needs to pinfall, and this thing is done and buried.
Yep, you agree with the New Day then?
Yeah.
WWE Championship on the line. Zack Ryder takes on Rusev. My initial gut thought was both mid-card champions retain. But you kind of wonder if WWE wants the Intercontinental belt on Raw, Matt. What do you think?
I'm not, honest to God, I'm not sure of either of these, either IC or US title matches. I will say either both champs retain or both titles change hands. It's not going to be a one in or, like one title change, one successful defense. It's not going to be that way. Either both titles switch or neither title switch. So that's how those two matches are going down this weekend.
I'm gonna go with logic, even though WWE doesn't go with logic a lot.
Logic would dictate that neither title changes hands.
That's what I'm gonna say too. I think neither title's gonna change hands because otherwise you'd have to set up a rematch.
I just can't see Darren Young as the Intercontinental Champion.
No,
I just can't.
I think it's a rub to get him established as a singles guy, but there's no way they could put him there at this point. It's too early. Too early. Becky Lynch takes on Natalya. I fully expect Becky Lynch to win this, Matt.
I agree.
Cena and Enzo and Cass against the Club. I'm gonna go with the good guys on this one. Let's set up
I truthfully feel the Club needs the win more with them being split. Like I feel Anderson and Gallows desperately need to get a pinfall on somebody here. It's not needed for AJ, but I think either Gallows or Anderson need to pin somebody. I think it would be very beneficial for them if one of them pinned John Cena. But I'm sure WWE will, heaven forbid, they'll do that. But I think Gallows and Anderson need all the goodwill they can. I expect a Finn Balor interference in this match to allow the Club to get the win.
So, I would mark out if that happens. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, though. I think the good guys are going to get the win here, so that's our first disagreement.
I just think the Club need this win more than Enzo, Cass, and Cena do. That's just me. I feel like they really, with them being split up on different brands, they really need the win. Like, if they weren't being split up, I would definitely agree Cena and Enzo and Cass should win. But with them being split, I feel like they need the win.
I always feel like the 6-man tag is a excuse to have Cena lose, but in this case, I have just this weird feeling that AJ Styles is going to win at SummerSlam against John Cena. I just got this weird feeling.
Oh, no, I agree with you there. I want that to happen. But
I just got a weird feeling.
I agree with you. AJ Styles versus John Cena is happening at SummerSlam. AJ Styles beating John Cena at SummerSlam, I'm not as confident as you on that.
With as high as he got drafted, I got this weird feeling that he's going to beat John Cena.
We'll see.
He's not going to just beat up John Cena. He's going to beat John Cena. The final two matches on the card are going to be treats. These are going to be epic, fun, amazing. First off, Sami Zayn's Kevin Owens. Thank God they're on the same brand. We thought of all.
So this match means absolutely nothing.
Still going to be a good match, though.
It still means nothing now.
I got Sami Zayn in this one, Matt. Who do you got?
I think Zayn needs it more. He got drafted higher. Yeah, logic would dictate that Sami Zayn gets the win here finally.
Leading up to the draft, the WWE was playing off so hard that these guys could be split up, so that's what made me think they're going to get on the same show. All right, this is interesting, since Ambrose and Rollins have been familiar with each other this week. The Shield triple threat match for the championship. Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Matt, which direction are you going outside of, we all know Reigns is going to get pinned.
I hope Dean pins Roman. I'm warning you right now, JB. And I'm warning all our listeners.
Before you say any other word, is this a warning for you to explode if?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
If Roman Reigns, if they put the WWE Championship back on Roman Reigns on Sunday, the rant that I did last year after the Seth Rollins match will pale in comparison to what I do on Monday's show if they put the title back on Roman Reigns on Sunday.
There is no way they can put it on him. No way.
I'm telling, dude, it's bad enough the wellness policy looks shady right now with them refusing to suspend Brock. If Roman comes back and the first thing they do is put the title back on him, dude, I'm going off.
There is zero
on that post show.
Especially now that this news came out, there is zero. I mean zero. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat my hat. But
how many hats are you going to eat this year?
Well, I've only eaten one so far. I've only said that once. Now, if I have to eat my hat on this again, I'm going to use that eat my hat thing as reverse psychology from now on. Who do you got winning though?
I have Dean pinning Roman.
But I have Dean pinning Roman as well.
I'm telling you, dude, if Roman wins the title on Sunday, oh my god.
I have more of a gut feeling now that Rollins could win, but I'm still going to go with Dean. I have a with the clean loss on SmackDown. I kind of thought maybe Seth is now going to win it. I don't know what they're going to do with the championship.
Well, at the same token, if Seth pins Roman or Roman pins Seth, they could do the SmackDown argument on Tuesday that Shane McMahon declares Dean Ambrose as still the champion since he never lost it, and they present him with a title on Tuesday. I mean, who knows what the hell they're going to do?
Do you see any way where? Oh God, this would be a shit show. But do you see any way that this is a no contest and they have to do it again at SummerSlam?
Triple threats can't end in a disqualification or a count out.
What if the club comes to town and starts NWO and things?
But if they do, and then at that point, why isn't the club?
Oh, you can still have a winner.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, but if they lay out everybody and nobody pins.
No, what I'm saying is instead of doing the rematch at SummerSlam, why would the club not be involved against these guys at SummerSlam?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking something weird. This is such a weird situation with Reigns anyways, and then you throw in the draft. I just feel like something screwy is going to happen here.
They could do a crazy 8-man war at SummerSlam with Styles, Balor, Gallows, and Anderson against the reunited Shield and John Cena as a Clash of Brands match at SummerSlam. But I mean, I don't think they have the balls to do that.
Plus, you wouldn't have a title match then.
Well, they're already considering Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton the main event anyway, so does it really matter?
Good point. Let's go do it for this episode of Lost in the Midcard, our draft special, breaking that baby down and setting up the table for Battleground. On paper, it's not exciting, but hopefully they give us a reason to be happy on Sunday night when we record our next show that'll hit your earwaves on Monday morning. I'd like to thank SpiderDuck.net for being our host and enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Just go ahead and search for Lost in the Midcard, and then you'll be able to find us and subscribe. We are also subscribable on YouTube. as well, and the links to do so are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Head to the notes section there, and it's right on that page. And also on our pinned tweet. Follow us on Twitter at LITMC Podcast. Before we ride off into the sunset, look forward to Battleground on Sunday. Matt, any final thoughts?
My throat is destroyed, and I really want to get a drink.
Swig a beer for the working man. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Have a good one. We will be back at you in just a few days as we break down Battleground.